My name is Cheryl Bowman. I'm a first grade teacher in the York Suburban School District. This is a picture of my family, my husband Matt, my son Carter graduating from Georgetown Law this year, and my son Eric graduating from Temple University last year. I used to be a fashion designer. I do the costume designing for our high school musical, and I am the science representative for my district for first grade, possibly taking on the challenge of kindergarten in second next year. One of our first questions is our definition of STEM compared to our text. Joanne Velquez in STEM Lesson Essentials talked about the interdisciplinary approach where you're really not separating science and technology, engineering, math. You're kind of doing it all together with real world experiences. I agree with that 100%. I think that works really well with project-based or problem-based learning. And you want it to be applicable to the students so they can buy into it. And that really helps eliminate some of that helplessness where they feel like you have to do it for them, and it helps engage their brain and keep them focused. How do I incorporate it in my classroom? Well, a great example of that is from last year. We piloted Great Minds Science for first grade, and in the survival unit, we were looking at plants and animals around a pond. One of the things we to help engage the students was we talked about how Velcro was invented by a man walking his dog and having the spurs stuck to his dog, and it made him think about Velcro. So their challenge is, how do scientists protect themselves from getting poked by needles, spurs, something like that when they're walking around the pond? And so I have a couple videos to show you. This first one is the kids collaborating and planning. I'm just going to show you a second or two of it. And as you can see, this is two classes working together. We paired people from my class with another class of a new teacher I was mentoring so that they got to work together. The students then designed on paper, as you saw, then they revised, and then they went and designed a prototype, and they had extra time to then adjust that prototype. Then they presented it in front of the two classes, and people asked questions, and they defended their design, and in some cases they made edits to their design. I'll show you just a second of that as well. Say it again. What happens? Like animals. So what animal inspired you, or how did you come up with the inspiration? I'm so interested. Great. Anything else you want to add before they ask you questions? So in referencing back to STEM Lesson Essentials on page 38, and I have that chart here, and thinking about that project I just did, yeah, definitely they were asking questions and defining their problem, trying to figure out how to solve it. They did develop models. They did this in both two-dimensional and three-dimensional. We really weren't using and analyzing data or mathematics so much, but we did do some construction, come up with some solutions, and we definitely were evaluating and communicating our information. And to wrap up with the last two questions, why is STEM education important? When I think about the video we watched from Neil deGrasse Tyson, he talks about how if you don't learn this, you're not going to have a job, you're going to be left behind. And even if you're not using it in your profession, the things that you're learning when you're in school, that act of learning helps you become a problem solver. It makes me think about, when I think about a job or a company being left behind, I think about what happened to Blockbuster with Netflix when they were unwilling or unable to be able to pivot and to be able to think like that collaboratively way and to take a chance with the technology. And finally, what do I hope to gain from this course? a better understanding of how to incorporate STEM in a meaningful way in my classroom of young learners while still holding on to the importance of the foundational year of first grade, when they really need to learn how to read, how to write, how to add.